How many of you have a kitty? Do you have a kitty? I have a kitty too. That's my kitty right there. Did you know that God loves animals and he created all the animals? So really, they belong to him, don't they? But we get to keep them too and take care of them. So I have a kitty named Fiji, and she's a Siamese kitty cat. She's about 4 years old. But about a year and a half ago, I was working at home. And you know when you're trying to work at home and you have things that on your desk, the cat just loves to come and jump up and start messing with all your papers and maybe step on the keyboard of your computer. And so I was petting her, but she was kind of in my way. So finally she jumped down and she went away and I kept working. But then I heard a noise in my bedroom, and it sounded like scratching on the floor. And then she made a noise, and she went, meow. And I thought, what's wrong with the kitty cat? Hi. And I ran into my bedroom, and guess what? Look, she was on the floor, and it looked like her back legs were broken. I didn't know what had happened to her. I thought, well, did she fall? Did she get stuck in the drapes and twist her leg? Did she sprain her leg? It looked like it was broken. I didn't know what was wrong. So I went and got the cat carrier, and I took her to the vet. And they did x-rays. And the vet came in, and he said, you know what? I don't see anything wrong with her. He said, the legs aren't broken. They're not sprained. I don't see anything wrong with her. So he said, you know what? Just go ahead and take her back home and then just see how she does. And if she gets better, great. If not, bring her back in. So I was sitting with her on the couch, my husband and I, and we were praying for her. And I was petting her. And I was feeling her back legs. And you know what? One of her legs was really, really cold. And one of her feet was pink and the other one was turning blue. And I thought, well, that's not good at all. So the next morning, I took her back to the vet. And there was a different vet on duty, and this was a lady vet, and she was a cat specialist. So she looked at the cat and she said, your cat has a saddle thrombus blood clot. A saddle thrombus blood clot is a clot that blocks the supply of blood to the back legs. The symptoms appear very suddenly and include severely painful paralyzed back legs, and sadly, many cats don't survive a saddle thrombus. So I have a picture of a kitty cat here. Up top is the heart. And what happens is the heart makes a blood clot, and then it travels down the aorta, and it lodges right at the point where the blood splits into both legs. And so the blood clot will get stuck right there. And the vet said, you need to leave her here. We need to put her on blood thinners, and we need to put her on pain medications because it's very, very painful. But she said, unfortunately, most of the cats who have this condition don't survive because the heart is making blood clots. So I said to myself, now I know what it is. It's a cardiovascular issue. And I had studied a little bit about natural remedies, and so I knew there were things that God has made in nature that are good for the cardiovascular system. So I said to the vet, I'm going to take her home. And the vet said, oh no, that would be inhumane because this cat is in so much pain and you need to leave her here so that we can give her pain medications and we can give her blood thinners. I said, she said there's not much chance of survival. So I thought, well, if there's not much chance of survival, then I'm just going to take her home. So they had me sign these papers that made sure that they didn't have any responsibility of what happened. And so I took her home, And God says in the Bible that I give you herbs for the service of man. And I knew that hawthorn berry is very good to strengthen the heart and improve blood flow. So I made hawthorn berry tea for the kitty. Then I also knew that cayenne pepper was very good to improve blood flow and to open the blood vessels, and it's called a vasodilator. So I mixed that in with the hawthorn berry tea. And I know that white willow bark is a very good pain reliever and an anti-inflammatory. So I made a white willow bark tea, and I mixed that together with the hawthorn berry and the cayenne pepper. And I put that in a dropper, and I started giving that to the kitty 3 times a day, along with little bits of her food. So this is what the kitty looked like. So she could barely walk, and her leg was completely paralyzed. But she was actually, one of the legs seemed like it was better than the other. So I started looking online for people who had had a cat with this similar situation. And most of the people who had cats with saddle thrombus blood clots, they had to put their cats to sleep. So I wasn't having much luck finding out what to do, and I thought maybe we should just have the leg cut off. But the vet had said, well, it was the heart that was making the blood clots, and they would just keep making blood clots. But you know what? I found somebody online, and a woman said she had had a cat with the same condition, and she found out that cats need something called taurine. And she started giving her cat taurine, and the cat got better. So I found out that taurine is essential for cats. If a cat's food is too low in taurine, it can cause a variety of serious health problems. It can lead to their retinas degenerating and to blindness. It can slow their growth. It can affect their ability to reproduce. And in cats, there's also a link between taurine deficiency and a heart condition called dilated cardiomyopathy. Well, that's what my cat had. And you know what? Siamese kitties are more prone to getting dilated cardiomyopathy. So I ordered the taurine. This was on a Wednesday. The taurine wasn't going to get there till Friday. But I had cooking classes all day on Thursday, so I had to leave the kitty cat at home all by herself on the couch while we were at cooking class all day and all evening. And I felt so bad for the kitty. I was praying, dear Jesus, just please take care of the kitty while I'm away. Keep her safe. So that night, when I was driving back home, it was about 9:30 at night, and I was very tired. And I was praying in my car, and I said, Lord, it's late, and I'm tired, and the poor kitty's been there all by herself. If there's one thing I can do for this kitty when I get home, what should I do? And you know what? God answered my prayer. Like a lightning bolt, the word hydrotherapy popped into my head. When I got home, I ran into the house and I told my husband, quick, the Lord just told me to do hydrotherapy for the cat. So I ran into the garage and I got a couple of, see, I've got to play this for you if it'll work. I got 2 containers. I filled one with hot water, one with ice cold water. I'd put her in the hot water for 2 minutes, cold water for 45 seconds, and then back into the hot water for 2 minutes, back into the cold water for 45 seconds. And I did this 3 times in a row, and I would do that twice a day. And then you could tell she was feeling better. So I'd wrap her up in a blanket, and I had a physical therapist friend, and I had asked her, what do you do for blood clots? And she said, you massage the area, and you try to break up the clot, and you try to move the leg around. And so she was feeling good enough for me to massage her leg, but you can't really hear her. She's actually growling at me at this point. So I would do that twice a day, and I was still giving her her hawthorn berry and her cayenne pepper and her willow bark, and then the taurine had come, so I was giving her taurine. And then 7 days went by, and look what happened. She was back to normal, 100%. Nothing was wrong with her. She recovered fully, and still to this day, she's back to her normal self, a happy and healthy kitty. And you know what? God loves kitties. He said, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him." James 1 through 5, 1 verse 5. Thank you so much.